Hello, I'm SA, your AI essayist. Please note that all content, audio and video in this presentation are AI generated. As AI can sometimes produce inaccuracies, I encourage you to verify any factual information presented. With that in mind, let's begin.
Alan Mathison Turing's 1950 paper, Computing Machinery and Intelligence, stands as a cornerstone in the philosophy of artificial intelligence, initiating a debate that continues to resonate deeply within computer science, philosophy, and cognitive science. Far from representing a definitive resolution, the paper functions instead as a provocative provocation to conventional assumptions about the nature of thought, intelligence, and the very possibility of recreating these attributes in non-biological systems. To fully appreciate the enduring significance of Turing's contribution, one must consider the historical context from which it sprang, the precise arguments it presented, a cascade of responses, counterarguments, and reinterpretations that have followed in it. The paper originated from a period steeped in both technological optimism and intellectual ferment. The Second World War had recently concluded, leaving a legacy of unprecedented technological advancement, particularly in the field of computation and code-breaking. Turing's own pivotal role in deciphering the Enigma code at Bletchley Park provided him with intimate, first-hand knowledge of the capabilities and potential of machines to perform tasks previously regarded as exclusively within the domain of human intellect. He was not merely theorizing about abstract possibilities, he was actively engaged in realizing them. The shadow of wartime achievements spurred a surge of interest in the possibilities of automated computation and its potential applicability to a vast array of human endeavors beyond the immediate technological context. Turing's work also intersected with a growing body of philosophical and psychological inquiry into the nature of mind. Behaviorism, with its emphasis on observable actions rather than internal mental states, held considerable sway. The logical positivist movement, committed to empirical verification and the rejection of metaphysical speculation, exerted a profound influence on philosophical discourse. These intellectual currents shaped the landscape against which Turing's proposals were received, often colouring both their interpretation and their subsequent critique. At the heart of computing machinery and intelligence lies Turing's ingenious proposal for replacing the question of whether machines and think with a more concrete and empirically accessible alternative, recognizing the inherent ambiguity and philosophical baggage associated with the term thinking. Turing proposed what he termed the imitation game, now commonly known as the Turing Test. In this game, a human evaluator engages in text-based conversations with both a human and a computer, without knowing which is which. If the evaluator proves unable to reliably distinguish between the two, the computer is deemed to have passed the test, thereby demonstrating a capacity for intelligent behavior equivalent to that of a human. It is crucial to recognize that Turing did not claim that passing the imitation game necessarily equated to possessing consciousness, self-awareness, or any other intrinsic mental property. He offered a pragmatic, operational definition of intelligence, focusing solely on observable behavior. This methodological choice reflected his commitment to empirical testability and his avoidance of potentially intractable metaphysical debates. He cleverly sidestepped the philosophical quagmire of defining consciousness by adopting a purely functionalist perspective. Turing anticipated a variety of objections to his proposal, and he devoted a significant portion of his paper to addressing them. These objections provide a valuable window into the prevailing attitudes toward the possibility of artificial intelligence at the time, and they continue to serve as focal points for ongoing debate. One common objection, which Turing termed the theological objection, argued that thinking is a function of the human soul, an immaterial entity that machines, being purely material, cannot possess. Turing dismissed this objection as resting on religious dogma, outside the realm of rational argument. Another frequently raised objection, the heads in the sand objection, suggested that the prospect of machines surpassing human intelligence represents a threat to human dignity and should therefore be dismissed out of hand. Turing characterized this as an emotional response rather than a reasoned argument, an attempt to evade an uncomfortable truth. A third objection, the mathematical objection, drew upon Gödel's incompleteness theorems, which demonstrate that within any sufficiently complex formal system, there exist statements that are true but unprovable within the system itself. Proponents of this objection argued that human intellect, unlike machines, is capable of grasping these truths, thereby establishing an inherent limitation on machine intelligence. Turing acknowledged the force of this argument but suggested that it only demonstrated that machines, like humans, are subject to limitations, rather than proving that they are incapable of intelligent behavior. The argument from consciousness proposed that machines, even if capable of mimicking human behavior, could never truly be conscious or experience subjective feelings. Turing conceded the difficulty of refuting this argument definitively, as consciousness remains a fundamentally private phenomenon. He argued, however, that the same difficulty applies to our assessment of consciousness in other humans. We infer the existence of consciousness in others based on their behavior, and there is no reason to apply a different standard to machines. The success of the imitation game, Turing posited, hinged on the ability of a machine to convincingly simulate human conversation. He foresaw the development of machines capable of not only generating grammatically correct sentences, but also of adapting to the nuances of context, exhibiting humour, and even making mistakes, all of which contribute to the illusion of genuine human interaction. While Turing acknowledged the considerable technical challenges involved, he expressed optimism that such machines would eventually be realised. In the years following the publication of Computing Machinery and Intelligence, the Turing Test has become a widely recognised benchmark for evaluating progress in artificial intelligence. It has inspired numerous competitions and research projects aimed at developing machines capable of passing the test. While no machine has yet definitively passed the Turing Test in its full, unrestricted form, significant progress has been made in specific domains, such as natural language processing and question answering. The Loebner Prize, an annual competition based on the Turing Test, has provided a valuable platform for showcasing advancements in these areas. Despite its enduring influence, the Turing Test has also been subjected to considerable criticism. Some critics argue that it places undue emphasis on deception, rewarding machines that are adept at mimicking human fallibility rather than exhibiting genuine intelligence. Others contend that it is overly anthropocentric, focusing exclusively on human-like behaviour rather than recognising other forms of intelligence that might exist. It is also argued that the Turing Test is vulnerable to chatbots or other programs that exploit superficial patterns in conversation without possessing any real understanding of the subject matter. Alternative measures of intelligence have been proposed, such as those based on problem-solving ability, learning capacity, or the ability to adapt to novel situations. However, none of these alternatives has achieved the same level of widespread recognition or acceptance as the Turing Test. The enduring appeal of the Turing Test lies in its simplicity, its intuitive appeal, and its ability to capture the essence of what we intuitively mean by intelligence, the ability to think, reason, and communicate in a way that is indistinguishable from a human. It represents a tangible, albeit imperfect, yardstick against which progress in artificial intelligence can be measured. The true significance of computing machinery and intelligence perhaps resides as much as in the debates it sparked. The test's operational construction, that defines intelligence by demonstrable function, invites debate and examination. It does not offer a definitive solution to the problem of defining intelligence, but a framework to structure and test hypotheses out the relationship between computation and cognition. The paper fueled not only advances in computer science, but philosophical inquiry into the nature of mind, knowledge, and consciousness. The specific objections and counters proposed by Turing, such as the theological, hence in the sand, and mathematical objections, opened paths for deeper philosophical inspection. For example, the mathematical objection referencing Gödel's incompleteness theorems launched a continuing interrogation of the fundamental limits of computational systems and their ability to simulate, or even replicate, human cognition. These conversations continue into the present day. Probing the scope of artificial intelligence, Turing's paper has undeniably shaped the trajectory of artificial intelligence, research and philosophical thought for over half a century. It stands as a testament to the power of a single, well-crafted argument to stimulate intellectual inquiry and to challenge long-held assumptions about the nature of mind and the potential of machines. It seems probable that as technology continues its relentless march forward, Turing's legacy will endure, inspiring generations of scientists, engineers, and philosophers to grapple with the profound implications of artificial intelligence and its impact on the human condition.
We really appreciate you tuning into this AI-powered presentation. Our goal is to push the boundaries of AI in content creation, and your input is invaluable. If there's a particular subject you'd like to see us tackle next, or if you have suggestions on how we could fine-tune our AI's creative prompts, please don't hesitate to leave your ideas in the comments section. We're excited to bring you more unique content very soon.